Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the commodities update video. Today we'll be updating on natural gas and tradable ticker natural gas for UNG, oil, US dollar, gold, and silver. So we're looking at their technical analysis as well as their support and resistance levels to potentially play off of, as well as what's the most likely scenario price will be heading into later this week. All right, let's take a look at starting with natural gas. So natural gas here is following that rising wedge that we've been talking about for a while. Resistance and support. So over the weekend, I was talking about where we had two levels of support playing off of, which is the 12 EMA, the steel looking line, and the rising wedge support. So the chances of it bouncing be a lot higher than it dropping. A 2-day decent bounce here, and we are pretty much approaching the end of that pattern. So let's take a look, zoom in, and see what may happen. So there's two scenarios on a weekly time frame. We're still looking at the bear flag because of the size of this drop. It's just so large. We measure it, we're still only bounced 23% of this entire drop. So as long as it stays below this 38.2%, it may be a bear flag. So if we break out of this rising wedge, bear, then that increases that probability of this forming a bear flag. So it doesn't mean that we're going to roll all the way down here. I mean, it could happen, but we'll take it one step at a time. But so if we do break out that rising wedge, a bear flag may form something like this, drop, and flags up, and then we'll see which way the flag breaks bear or breaks bull. If it breaks bear, that's a confirmed bear flag. If it breaks bull, it's a negated bear flag. That's one likely scenario. We'll have to see if the rising wedge breaks bear first. Otherwise, none of that's going to happen. Even if we break bear, it doesn't mean it's game over for the bulls. As long as we break bear here, right? Let's we break out of this rising wedge with bear, and this EMA is going to catch up. And let's say it comes down to here, and it bounces. Then it's absolutely no red flags from the bulls because we're in a daily uptrend. Big move up, big move down, big move up, big move up. So the pivot's set here, and now the next pivot set here, big move up. So let's say if we break out of that rising wedge bear and then bounce off of this 12 EMA, that's a new pivot being set. That's another pivot that is higher than a prior pivot. Let's call it higher low. This just means that daily uptrend is still continuing. So we'll have to see when this rising wedge breaks bear, how shallow that retracement is. If it's just very shallow one and then we bounce off of support, no big deal from the bulls. But if we start flushing through all of these supports, flushes below the 12 EMA, breaks below this prior pivot, then that may start shaping up a potential deeper retracement. Or we break bull. So we break bull above this rising wedge. We need to break about $2 though. It's because right at the end, we're pretty much right underneath the rising wedge resistance and coinciding with that $2 resistance right at the exact same spot. Pretty much tested it today from that Natgas news, I think an hour ago or something. See on the charts, right at it, $2 and sold off. So essentially this is just a tiny range. Big move up, big move down, all the moves within the next move, big move down, just tightens up. You can see every move is within the prior move. Whichever way this breaks, not that big of a deal for me. More bigger deal for me is what's going to happen when we retest, either break out of this rising wedge bull, retest this $2. Can we break above that? That's a good sign. Then, or we're going to roll over from this rising wedge, which will very well end closer tomorrow or Thursday. Yeah. So by Thursday, we'll know if this is going to be a bull break or a bear break here. Is that very key? But as of now, bulls are okay. Definitely it's a slight red flag where we just touch $2 and roll back, but we're still in a daily uptrend. So as long as we are above this pivot, we are still intact. So we're okay at the moment. No huge red flags yet. See the hourly here. Yeah, so either we bounce off the 12 EMA if we do roll over, and that's still a good sign, or we break a bull above, then we might test this structure here once we break above $2. So we may come up to closer to 2.06 if we break bull. And tomorrow, EMA will likely be over here. So if we break, I want to see us bounce close to 1.88. We may peak below a little bit, kind of like here, where we break below the wick and then come back. And that's still also a good sign, as long as we don't break below this prior daily pivot on the daily charts. UNG. UNG tradable ticker for natural gas. If you trade commons, but you can trade futures with this too as well. But it's a different topic. So we are looking at similar idea, rising wedge, resistance and support. And yeah, so as long as if natural gas breaks above $2, we will break above 18 for UNG. You can see UNG's resistance right here. Pretty much this was support. Now it's acting as resistance. We pretty much just touched it. So we need to break above $2 for UNG to break above 18 and potentially come up to 18.8 range. And if it breaks bear on the gas, this will likely come down as well. And if it bounces off of that 12 EMA on that gas, this will bounce back and it'll be fine. So we'll see about that. But if it rolls over, we're probably forming a weekly bear flag here as well. Let's see. Weekly time frame. Yeah, similar idea. It would be a weekly bear flag. So we'll see about that. All right. You guys learn anything, or feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And the free 15-minute call down below. Just book in the calendar link. I'm doing a free call if you guys want to improve your trading on anything or learn anything regarding trading, and go from there. All right, let's take a look at oil. So oil is, so we finally broke above that quadruple resistance top that we were talking about, but it's not doing much, lacking follow through. So pretty much came up and said just kidding, came back right below. So just I would say, let's see if we have a resistance line here. Not really. It was getting pretty close to the final resistance when we broke above on last Friday. I talked about this over the weekend, saying either we come up to test this maroon looking line, where it says the resistance of this, or we're going to break below this 75.19 range, because you can see this cluster of volume here was acting as support. Now we pretty much rejected from that area as resistance. No acceptance of price above 75, essentially what it's telling us. So everybody that was in here wanted to sell. It's low now, back again to this 73. So now we want to see the bulls step up, because this quadruple top took so long to break above. So when we come back to retest it, bulls want to now act as support. So resistance wants to become support. If we just roll over back down below 73, it's a big red flag. Actually, now that would create enough room where it's a big enough drop. Now both bears can confirm daily downtrends. As of now, the drop is still okay, but if we just flush through here, that's a big red flag. We have an upper wick here too, so there's a chance where we just close below here tomorrow. So we'll have to see about that. Yeah, it just means a bull break. Black zero follow through comes back to prior resistance. That was supposed to act as support now, and then breaks through that. That's two double red flags. Let's see how oil bulls stay here. But if they do bounce right here, then they can negate that red flag. All right, let's take a look at the US dollar. All right, so completely nothing here, nothing burger. Is probably waiting for Jerome Powell to talk tomorrow, testifying for the next 2 days. So that will probably spike or drop the US dollar. So right now, just chilling for the last couple of days. Actually, more than that for the last 2 weeks. Completely sideways below 104.15 and above 103.5. As long as it chills here, we know where it's going to chill. And we'll see how Jerome Powell talks tomorrow. If he's more hawkish or more dovish tomorrow, it's definitely going to move the dollar. Will also move the bond market, which will also move the stock market. So, yeah, it's gonna be a wild day this week. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, as long as it bounces off of this 103.6, it's gonna stay above there because you can see this cluster of resistance here. Literally like 2 weeks of resistance. Now acting as triple bottom support at the moment. But that support is going to mean nothing if Jerome says, he just drops off a statement that nobody was expecting. It could just roll over. Or similar as this 104.1, right? This is this wall of resistance here. Same here, over there. That could just mean nothing. If a fundamental macro news changes, Jerome says something, it just boom, big bounce. So we have to have these two levels ready, and we'll see which way it breaks once or anything. Maybe it just he says nothing surprisingly, which he does a lot often, and this ends up being dropping in the range. Stays in the range, right? That could also happen because he does talk. Sometimes he just keeps things simple and doesn't really change anything the way he talks. All right, so gold on fire. So over the weekend, I said that since we're above pretty much every resistance, and our last one is 2080, which is right here. If we break above that, we're probably gonna come up to here. And I was jokingly saying that probably won't straight out shot from here. I said maybe we could go to do this candle, but it looks like we're actually doing it. So yeah, we're pretty much doubling top close to here, and this top right here at the moment. So if we can break above this top to 135, then we're gonna come up to this black looking line, which is the top of all these resistance. You see, that is pretty much the final target for gold. I mean, obviously, it can hit higher in a longer term time frame, but if we hit here, there's nothing really above it to really just be blue sky breakout if we break above it. So we'll see. The bulls can do that. Same thing tomorrow and Thursday. Jerome is going to be talking. So if it affects the dollar, if the dollar skyrockets, it's going to affect the metals on the downside because they are very inversely correlated. So we'll see about that. So make sure to have a trading plan set. A lot weaker on the silver. Popped and closed red. So we pretty much came up to this 24.3 range of cluster of resistance level here. Yep. This is like the main boss of resistance right here. Cluster, yeah. Yeah, so we pretty much came up to it, came back, and no red flags, and we're in daily uptrend. And this is just a shallow retracement of this big move. But you can see is silver is weaker than gold, where gold closed green halfway above its candle. Silver actually came down and went lower and closed red. So if the dollar skyrockets tomorrow, silver is going to be affected more because it's relatively weaker. So it will likely drop a lot more than gold. But relative weakness and relative strength shifts when it hits supports and resistance. So we'll see about that. It's a little more complicated, but as of now, it's relatively weaker. All right. And yeah, no red flags at the moment. So if we pull back, I likely want to see 23.36 act as support because the amount of resistance down here that we have acted took us like forever to get above it. So when we do come down from that level, I want to see act as support now and bounce from there. That'll be a good sign for the bulls. If we just flush through it, come all the way down, then it'll probably come down to 23. That's a good sign for the bears. All right, that's like off you guys for update today. I'd like to see you guys on Thursday or Friday, but for sure on Saturday. And yeah, feel free to like, share, subscribe because you made it this far and learn anything. And make sure to book that 15-minute free call if you guys want to improve your trading or learn anything. I will see you guys then.